Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Milazzo. We're making plant-based brownies tonight, which are vegan, gluten-free option, and they're low in sugar, so they're perfect for the holidays or an everyday treat. I'm gonna give everyone a minute or two to come on and then we'll get started. Making sure you guys can see everyone. Hello, I see people are starting to come on. I'm just gonna give it another minute. Just getting everything ready. Hello everyone. I'm glad you're joining me tonight to make plant-based brownies. They're really delicious. I made a test batch the other day and definitely had to try some. So, all right, well, we have quite a few people on already. We'll get started. My name is Jessica Milazzo. I am from Healthy Homestead Hostess, so I am an integrative nutrition health coach who loves to cook and does a lot of healthy eating cooking demonstrations. So like I said, today we're making plant-based brownies. They're really simple. They're perfect for the holidays or even an everyday treat. My goal with these were to make them low in sugar. They also have a gluten-free option and they're vegan. So only a simple ingredients. We're gonna go through them now. So we're using flaxseed meal. Flaxseed meal is going to be our replacement to an egg. So mixed with water, it's going to congeal and hold the brownies together, similar as to an egg. So if you're not vegan, you could of course use an egg, but I have a 1/4 cup of water here and I'm just mixing a tablespoon and we're gonna let it sit for a few minutes just so it could get well incorporated. So you could find ground flaxseed. You just want to make sure that it is ground because the stores also sell flax seeds. You could always grind it yourself if you really wanted to as well. But we're just taking a tablespoon. I have a 1/4 cup of water and I'm just going to stir it in so you can see. And you'll see in a few minutes it's going to become thicker and have the similar consistency as an egg. All right, so while that's sitting, we'll go through the rest of the ingredients. So our wet ingredients, we have apple cider vinegar, raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar, great for your immune system and also helps for digestion. So some people like to take a shot of this before a meal, helps you digest. You could also mix it with water in case apple cider vinegar, a straight shot of it is too strong for you, but really good for the immune system and also for the gut. So, and we're using it in our brownies today. Next, we have some vanilla extract, which who doesn't love vanilla extract? And I have some almond milk. So I typically make my own almond milk. You could, of course, use store-bought. I would just suggest you make an unsweetened almond milk. Is the recipe posted? Yeah, so I'm going to be posting the recipe after this in the comments. And I believe it might be posted somewhere else as well, but I will make sure to post the recipe in the comments. And going on to that question, if anybody else has any questions, feel free to ask them throughout the Facebook Live. I typically will answer them right when you ask them, or I will always go back and answer the questions if I forget anything. So the recipe will definitely be posted. This way you don't have to write down all the ingredients or worry that you're gonna miss something. This video is also saved to the Mastic Merch's library page, so you could always rewatch it as well, but the recipe will be posted, so don't worry. And then we're using applesauce as our sweetener. So again, I told you these brownies are gonna be low in sugar. So applesauce is our natural sweetener. I haven't tried bananas, but I have received that question before. You most likely could just substitute bananas if you don't like applesauce, but it gives it a nice natural sweetness. And then we're gonna use, of course, cocoa powder. So this is just from Trader Joe's, and you could also use raw cacao powder. So cacao powder is going to be the raw form of chocolate and it's not processed, so it's not previously heated up, whereas cocoa powder is more processed and it's heated. Next, for your flour, so this is really where you could choose what flour you prefer. I am using tonight an organic sprouted whole wheat flour. So I like to use whole wheat flour because it has more fiber than an all-purpose or bleached flour. So more fiber, more nutrients. Sprouted flour tends to be more easier on the digestive system as well, just to note that. But if you're gluten-free or trying to be gluten-free, you could also use a gluten-free flour. I just suggest you choosing like a King Arthur or any type of gluten-free flour that allows you to substitute 1-to-1. So that really is important. But over the weekend, I used gluten-free flour, totally fine. So I've never had an issue substituting whole wheat versus gluten-free. Just make sure that it's a 1-to-1 ratio. And then we just have some baking soda, really simple. Everyone should have that. And then we have our chocolate chips. So chocolate chips are really important. I suggest you reading the ingredient labels just to make sure that you get healthier chocolate chips. So you want to make sure that there's no oils or high fructose corn syrup in your chocolate chips. Also ones that are lower in sugar, and that's going to mean a higher cacao content. So the higher the cacao content, the less sugar it's going to have. So we'll start with these. These are from Trader Joe's. I think they're new from them, but these are organic cacao chips. So no sugar at all. If you use these, the brownie would be quite bitter. So there's no sugar or there's no refined sugar in the cake part. We're just using our applesauce, but I do like to sweeten it a little bit with the chocolate chips. So these are not going to be overly sweet. You know, some people might have to adjust to their palate depending on how much sugar you're typically eating. But according to the American Heart Association, we should not be consuming, us as women, more than 25 grams of added sugar each day. And that's about 6 teaspoons. For men, it's 9 teaspoons. So keep that in mind. You want to be cautious of how much sugar you're intaking each day, especially now that the holidays are starting. That's kind of where things go downhill and we start consuming a lot more sugar than we normally do. So keep that in mind. No more than 25 grams of added sugar to your daily meals, and you know, start reading ingredient labels. Maybe things that you didn't realize had sugar in them actually do. So things like tomato sauce have sugar. You know, really anything could have sugar. Ketchup obviously has sugar. You know, there's pretty much probably anything that you buy packaged is going to have added sugar. Even some peanut butters have added sugar. So just be aware of that. So these are going to be bitter, no sugar in them. And then we're going to move to, these are Hue. I actually found these at Costco. So these have 8 grams of sugar for 1/4 cup. So not bad. And again, the ingredients are really clean: organic cacao, organic unrefined coconut sugar, and organic cocoa butter. So read your ingredient labels. You want to make sure that there's nothing that you can't pronounce or you're not sure about in your chocolate chips. And then these I found at Target. So the great part of organic and these healthier options, they're becoming more widely spread. So these I found at Target. The brand is, I think, Target's brand. It's Good and Gather. These are going to be 72% cacao. So for 1 tablespoon, it's 4 grams of sugar. And Stop and Shop also has an organic chocolate chip as well, just for your reference. So let's get started. We're going to start with a bowl. So I have 2 bowls, and to be completely honest with you, I've made these all in 1 bowl and they've come out fine. But we're going to start with our wet ingredients. So here we have our flax egg that we have sitting, and it might be harder for you to see, but it did thicken up a bit. So this again was 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal mixed with 1/4 cup of water. And if you wanted to use an egg, you could use an egg. All right, so we have that. We're gonna use our applesauce, so we're doing 1 cup of applesauce. You could get this pretty much anywhere, but again, you wanna make sure that your applesauce, ingredients, organic apples, that's all that needs to be in there. You wanna make sure that your applesauce doesn't have more sugar in it. So again, just something to be aware and make sure that you read your ingredient labels while you're at the store. You don't want to add unnecessary sugar if you don't have to. So we're just doing a cup. This is such a great staple to have in the house, especially during the holidays. It helps your cake stay moist. Also, of course, adding a natural sweetness. You could use this in cookies as well. And a lot of plant-based and vegan cooking will incorporate apple sauce in it or bananas. So I hope everyone's doing well. I can't believe it's already mid-November. It's just, time is flying by. Let's see if I have a cup left. You could also, places like Costco usually sells the, you know, the serving size, like the 1 serving size of applesauce. I like to get those as well. This way it doesn't go bad and you kind of just use one at a time. So that's great to keep in your pantry as well. I'm gonna open up another applesauce. My mom makes her homemade applesauce from organic apples, and I'm lucky enough to have some tonight. I actually took it from her this weekend because I was like, I need more applesauce for the Facebook Live. So we're doing a cup of applesauce. So I'm just putting this again in the wet ingredients. And 2, if you want something a little sweeter, you could always add in a 1/4 or a 1/2 cup of coconut sugar if you really wanted to. Again, I suggest you know, starting with no sugar, or again, cleansing your palate so you're not used to all the sweetness. But just so you know that you can add in a 1/4 cup or a 1/2 cup of coconut sugar if you would like. So now I'm adding in some almond milk. I'm just gonna measure this here. So it's going to be a 1/4 cup, and we're doing 2 tablespoons with it. So I'm just going to pour this in right there. And tonight we're making these in muffin pans. So I love to make brownies or whatever I'm making in a muffin pan because it helps you with serving size. If we make a whole entire tray of brownies, it's very easy for us to be like, oh yeah, that's a serving size. And then we end up eating the entire tray of brownies. I don't know if anyone's ever done that. But making it in a muffin pan allows us to stick to our serving size more easily because we understand that 1 brownie or 1 muffin is the serving size. And next we're going to do a 1.5 teaspoons of the apple cider vinegar and then also the vanilla extract. So we're just going to add this in right here. The apple cider vinegar is going to help activate the baking soda. Oh, holding both of those. And I like to keep the brownies in the fridge. There's no preservatives in them, so they can mold more easily. Now in the cooler months, usually it's okay, but depending on when you're going to serve them or eat them, I like to just keep them in the fridge. This way they keep for a longer period of time. You could even try freezing them if you want. So we have all of our wet ingredients in this bowl. You could see right here. So I'm just whisking it. And then we're gonna get our dry ingredients in our second bowl. So I'm just gonna move this over and we're gonna start with our dry ingredients. So again, I'm using an organic sprouted whole wheat flour tonight. Use whatever flour you would prefer, but know that if it is gluten-free, make sure that it's a 1-to-1 ratio. This way you have no issues substituting. All right, so I'm getting my other cup. So we're doing a 1.5 cups of whole wheat flour. Whole wheat flour does tend to be more dense than an all-purpose flour, but I like it. Again, it has more fiber in it, nutrients, and we're trying to make these, even though they act as a treat, more nutrient than a regular brownie that maybe you're buying somewhere. These have each about 125 calories and about 7 grams of sugar. Now that's going to change depending on what chocolate chips you use and what the cacao count is on that. But it's not bad, because if you're buying a brownie from Starbucks or Panera or something like that, those could have, hey Cindy, thanks for watching. Those could have like 25 grams, 30 grams of sugar. So again, make your own much healthier version and you're gonna have a lot less calories and also sugar, so you don't feel as bad when you want a brownie. It's a more acceptable treat. I'm just gonna grab some water. All right, so we have our dry ingredients. This is 1.5 cups of sprouted whole wheat flour. And then we're going to do baking soda, which we're doing a teaspoon. Let me just. And then we're gonna add in our cocoa powder or cacao powder. Again, you could choose either ones. The brownies that I made over the weekend had cacao powder and I really enjoyed that. But the cocoa powder is probably going to give you a more chocolatey flavor. So the baking soda we'll put over there, and then cocoa powder, because we wouldn't have brownies without cocoa powder. So we're doing a 3/4 cup for this. Smells so good. And right now I have the oven. We're gonna bake these at 375, and it's gonna take about 20 minutes. And again, I'm doing these in 2 separate bowls, but honestly, I've done it in 1 bowl and I think they come out fine. It might just be like the density of the brownie, but it really depends. If you don't have a lot of time, use 1 bowl. If you don't want to clean up as much, just use 1 bowl. All right. So we got all of our dry ingredients. We're not going to add our chocolate chips in. So again, I have sprouted whole wheat flour. We're going to do the cacao powder, and then we have our baking soda. And we're also, I almost forgot, salt. So you could use sea salt. I have Himalayan salt. I love pink Himalayan salt, so that's typically what I have on hand. But you could use a sea salt or a kosher salt if you would like. The pink Himalayan salt tends to have less sodium than other salts, so just so you know that. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, ask away. So we're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And just make sure you mix really well. You want to make sure that everything is mixed and incorporated. All right, so that looks pretty good. Now we're going to incorporate it into our wet ingredients. So I have all the wet ingredients here. Again, we're going to add it a little bit at a time. So Emily, the recipe is going to be posted in the comments. I think also the library was going to post it in another section, but I'm not sure where. So you don't have to you don't have to write down all of the ingredients, but right after this, I will make sure to post the recipe in the comments section so you guys could make these at home. Again, these are low in sugar. The sugar is only coming from the chocolate chips. The added sugar is only coming from the chocolate chips. In the batter, we only added applesauce, so that's our sweetener there. So they're not going to be overly sweet, but only about 7 grams of sugar per brownie, and the brownie is a pretty nice size. These are great too. I mean, I don't know what everything's happening with COVID this year, but if you're going somewhere or seeing family, this is a great dessert to bring because you're going to indulge a little bit, but not overindulge. And oftentimes in the holidays, we tend to overindulge. So this is going to be a thick batter. You'll see it come together. Again, I'm just whisking all the ingredients. Get your workout in. All right, so that's it. Put this in the sink. And then lastly, we're gonna fold in our chocolate chips. Ooh, I almost left. So you'll notice it's quite thick and you'll feel like it's not gonna come together, but it will come together. So I'm gonna take my whisk out and I'm gonna start using a spatula at this point. I just wanna keep folding it in. So it just takes a little bit, but it all comes together. And then we're gonna add our chocolate chips. We're doing a 1/2 cup, and again, you could add less or more depending on your preference and whether or not you're trying to eat less sugar. So we just have a question. Oh, that's amazing. Well, she can lick the bowl because there's no eggs. So again, these are completely vegan. They're plant-based. There's no eggs. There's no butter. We didn't even add oil in it. So, you know, it's about 125 calories per brownie. So you don't have to feel so bad about eating a brownie or eating dessert. And next week, you guys should stay tuned. We are making 2 different types of healthy appetizers. So we're doing a black bean hummus, and then we're also doing stuffed mushrooms. So again, perfect for the holidays, but it's also perfect for an everyday meal as well. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Eileen. So yes, whether you're vegan or you're not, I think everybody would enjoy this recipe. Again, I love to take foods that are not so healthy and make them healthier versions. I'm not saying these brownies are a health food, but they are definitely healthier than your counterparts that you find in the store or maybe Panera or Starbucks. All right, so we have our batter. You can see it's nice and thick, but everything is well incorporated. And now we are going to put in our chocolate chips. So I'm gonna try the Hue chocolate chips. Again, these are vegan as well. I found these at Costco, which is an extremely great deal because in the store, these are quite expensive. So Costco and Holbrook had them, and also Riverhead, depending on where you are. And I'm sure that Wisconsin would have them as well, but they were in the candy section. If not, Stop and Shop has great organic chocolate chips. And then also these are from Target, the Good and Gathered. I haven't tried these yet, but it's 72% cacao, which is great. And then Trader Joe's could be a great option as well. But these again, 100% cacao, so they're going to be bitter. And also, Eileen, next week, the healthy appetizers are going to be vegan as well. So the stuffed mushrooms and the black bean hummus are all vegan. Whether you're vegan or not, you are going to enjoy them. So we're going to do a 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup. Look how cool these chocolate chips are. They're like little, they're called gems, but they look like little capsules. They're really good. You could eat them just like that, or put them in your brownies. All right, so these are well incorporated. Now we're gonna get our muffin pan. You could make this in a cake pan or whatever type of baking sheet or dish that you have. But again, I like the muffin pan just because it helps me with portion size, and this way I don't overindulge in dessert. I know I am allowed one and that's it. And these are really rich too and filling that I don't feel that I need more than that. I like to line my muffin pan, so I have any muffin pans going to do. Let me make sure you guys can see this. So you could do 1/4 cup in this. I have a little scooper, which is probably like a 1/2 cup. So use whatever you have. You could use the tablespoon. I just find this is really easy, and they're then uniform in size. I also love these baking muffin, large baking cups. So these are unbleached, but I find that they work really well. And use whatever muffin liners you have. This is also a great idea for kids or the holidays. You could get Thanksgiving themed or Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you would like to do. So it's a good way to make these more holiday-ish if you're looking for that. And then you could also stick like little, you know, let me show you what I have. So these I had gotten for Thanksgiving many years ago. I never used them. So there's like little turkey cutouts. It's just a great way to make your dessert more festive without adding in like artificial dyes and colors and all those sprinkles and all that stuff. I just prefer to use that. So we're gonna take our scooper, make sure that you could see. Yeah. We're just gonna scoop them in. They're gonna be really thick. I'm not filling this up completely because it's about a 1/2 cup and we really need about 1/4 cup. But again, we could always fix it after. They don't have to be exact, but pretty uniform. And you wanna make sure that you get 12. So I'm gonna show you what they look like after, but you should get 12. Again, depending on the flour and the chocolate chips used, they're about 125 calories each and 7 grams of sugar. So again, much healthier. It's a great recipe to make with the kids. Easy. And I think they'll enjoy it. And also it's just a way to monitor how much sugar they're eating as well. So I have a little more. I'm gonna, and hopefully everyone has most of the ingredients in their house. If not, pretty much all the ingredients are staples that if you buy them, they're not gonna go bad quick. They're just great to have in your pantry. So, and my oven is already preheated at 375. Of course, I'm not gonna make you wait the 20 minutes, so I already have some baked so you could see the finished product. And I always recommend to clients too, if you have a really bad sweet tooth, eliminating sugar or all added sugar for a week, and you will be surprised at how your taste buds change. And then you could slowly incorporate if you wanted to, such as these low sugar brownies, and they will taste really sweet for you. And after the holidays, we probably all could use a sugar detox. Or I don't know about you guys, but me. The problem with sugar is it makes us crave more sugar, so that's why we just want to monitor how much we're intaking. All right, so these look really good. Does anyone else have any other questions? Again, I'm going to post the recipe right after this, so make sure that you grab it in the comment section. And here we go. All right, so these, you just want to kind of like, this is what they look like pre-oven. Now these are gonna go in 20 minutes about 20 minutes, depending on your oven. So you just always want to make sure, even with this, check it with the toothpick. If the toothpick comes out clean, then you know that they're good to go. If not, they might need a few minutes, but just watch them. So 20 minutes at 375. I'm going to show you what they look like now. All right. So for the finished product, can you guys see? They're really yummy. They're quite large, so this is a nice serving size, in my opinion. And then these wrappers come right off. So you could see the chocolate chips in there and all that chocolatey goodness. So this is a healthier treat that you can make for you and your families every day or during the holidays. Again, I keep them in the refrigerator. You could also freeze them. That's a great way to make sure that you're not overeating them, or when you make a dozen, you eat all of them in 1 week or every day. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, they're really good. You could even see the inside. So these are going to be a little more dense, and this is with the gluten-free flour. So you could see all of those good chocolate chips, if you can see. So I will post this recipe for you guys. Reminder, next week, I think it's next Tuesday, we are doing healthier appetizers for the holidays or every day. So black bean hummus, and then we're also doing stuffed mushrooms. But let me know if you try out this brownie recipe. They're really good. And let me know what you guys think. So have an amazing night. It was so amazing to spend tonight with you and bake these brownies. I hope you will try baking them in your own home and tell me what you think. So if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to leave comments underneath this Facebook Live. A reminder, it will be saved to the Massig Moriches library, and then this way you guys could go back and watch it again if you would like, but the recipe will be posted in a few minutes, so I'm gonna go do that now. But have a great night, and I will see you all soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. Bye-bye.